Welcome to the Outer Realm with MicheleDerocher and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of the Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. We're fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee, who have been a part of our journey for the last at least 5 years. So thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Justin Snicker, aka Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, for the contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for the intro you just heard. He is an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind our logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Does phenomenal commission pieces, however, does specializes in the horror genre. So tonight, I've been really looking forward to this because he's just like what I call one of my favorite people. He really is. He's just that kind of guy. You just want to spend more and more time with him. Anyway, Toni Ghazi, for kind of like a part two, I guess. You know, there's so much to talk about. It's just fresh information. But of course, everybody was all about him channeling the mantis. And it was just very touching, very emotional, very informative. But we're going to be discussing other things as well, such as synchronicities, crystal skulls, spirit guides, you name it. There's so much that we don't know. And maybe we're just not seeing the signs. Maybe we just, some of us just need to learn how just to interpret what we're seeing or what we're hearing. Maybe it's not just some or what I call background, right? So anyway, without further ado, Toni Ghazi, hello.
Hi, Michelle. It's an absolute pleasure always. And you are one of my favorite people because I feel like I should be like a standing guest for the next 10 years.
I know. I can arrange that.
Every other month we just talk about but there's so much to talk about because life is infinite, right?
I know. I know.
How can you condense everything in an hour or even 2 hours? So
you can't. That's why you're back. But I mean, there is so much information and so much of it that I think it just sort of goes under the radar. Besides that, people just don't know what they're looking for. Frequency, vibration. A lot of people don't really have a lot of knowledge about that, even though it's sort of a universal language.
Totally. I mean, look, like you have to remember how we've been conditioned to think and understand the world is since we were kids. Depending on your culture, what school system you went to, what your parents specifically said, what you witnessed between them, what you witnessed on TV, at school, your own stories, layer after layer after layer after layer after layer after layer. And I can say this for the next 2 hours. All these layers of what's the word? Of like conditioning, but also limiting our world. Like when we're born as these souls, as these like pure energy with so much awareness of creation, like to create anything that we desire, but that world begins to smaller, and now we live in this little box that we think is our world, now realizing the world is beyond that box. So now when we go in and we begin to really find those things, and it takes some time because initially you're working with the mind is a beautiful engine of creation and intelligent consciousness, but also it is based in the 3D. It is based in this density, and it plays tricks on you, right? It's like a cool trickster. Like it's not a bad trickster, but it's kind of designed to live in limitation and experience limitation. When you begin to work with it to expand it a bit and allow it to ascend with you, and to stretch its own imagination, then your whole world changes. And like you realize, wow, I'm not just physical, I'm energy. Yes. I'm like mathematical equation of energy. I'm like sacred geometrical structures. I'm light reflections,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. I mean, we can go into deep, deep, um, ideas of who we are beyond what we think we are, but
Yes.
also the lens in which our mind. So when we have all these definitions in our mind that our world looks like this, the
Mm-hmm.
whole world also believes that the world looks like this.
Yes.
It's the lens. So through the lens we experience our separation and everything else from a separate point of view, because we have inputted these like commands that we are separate. But
Mm-hmm.
we go in and begin to redefine and say, well, actually, okay, fine, even if you're working with the mind to comprehend something that's beyond,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of time sometimes, right? To just train it over and over again. And at times you may speak like intellectually. I stand like in front of the mirror, or I'm in the car and I say, okay, uh, I'm infinite, I'm energy being, I'm energy being. Like I say these things just for the mind to just get used to what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And I allow synchronicity. There's so much information. And what is synchronicity? It's
Yes.
information that's like coming back to us all the time. It's
Yes.
communication
Yes.
from
Yes.
the universe, which is amazing. From
Yes.
our guys.
Yeah, but people don't recognize that. I think once you see it, you can never unsee it.
Totally. All you need, I always say, all you need is one example that you prove to yourself.
Yes.
And it could be a little tiny example where you just, that becomes the fuel of like, begin to see,
Yes.
But also we've been trained, like we're going to speak about religion for 1 second,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
We've been also,
absolutely. Take her away. Yeah.
yeah, because this kind of all ties into how our
It
mind works.
does.
We've been trained that God is outside of us,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus outside of us, Mother Mary, Krishna, Buddha, all the deities, whichever like religion that you come from,
Mm-hmm.
it's outside of us. So we're always running and searching for the outside to either make our world better, have more money, be happier, heal ourselves, whatever, to be able to see the
Mm-hmm.
world. But it's not outside of us. And that's the trick. When you keep praying for something outside of you, no wonder it's not happening as much, or no wonder it's not manifesting in a much faster way.
Mm-hmm.
It may take, because you're praying to something that seems to be separate,
Yes.
with a belief system that being or that consciousness is gonna create that change, whatever that you're praying for, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're disempowering yourself and you're giving the power to that other consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, we are the power that's creating that separation to begin with. We are this engine of creation. So when we begin to realize that I am the creator, and the idea of Jesus and all of these like deities and all these saints are really within me, I'm their ingredient, but I'm experiencing them as separate
Mm-hmm.
because of my definition system. Just understanding intellectually that without even beginning to believe the next chapter
Mm-hmm.
is the first step, is to speak to yourself and begin to, okay, you know what? Even if you think it's a crazy idea, begin challenging yourself just for the hell of it, for the act of play, for just being fun, and be
Yeah.
fun. Don't be serious, guys. The more serious you are, the more you limit yourself. Life
Yes.
is not
Yes.
meant to be serious. Seriousness is our society's, it's based on fear, really, relax, that's why they say be childlike. Why?
That's a hard one for some people. Life is hard for some people.
Listen, because we've been defined that life is hard. Unless life looks
Yeah.
like this, then it's hard.
Yeah. Yes.
Recently, like the Mantis beings have been speaking over and over again, like to people, to begin witnessing the world as a gift. Because truly, what's happening, everything outside of us, and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
say this, every human, every plant, the wind, the sun, the moon, all the stars we see at night, the river, the like volcano, the insects, the animals, the rock, everything
Mm-hmm.
we see outside of us with our eyes, that seems to be um out there,
Mm-hmm.
are actually ascended masters
Mm-hmm.
holding mirrors,
Mm-hmm.
literally each one holding a mirror, so I can see myself through that mirror. I can see within me. Like if you begin to comprehend beyond like the intellect, that wow, I live in a world of all these mirrors that's mirroring back to me what I cannot see within myself. What an absolute gift this
Mm-hmm.
world is.
Yes.
That I'm surrounded with so much communication and information that literally all leading me to my inner self.
Mm-hmm.
even through that idea, even if you are unable to comprehend how can Trump, how can politics, how can this world, how can war, how can what's happening in the world now be ascended mastery, forget about that. But imagine for a moment, just imagine for fun, for the sake of fun,
Mm-hmm.
they are ascended masters, but you just don't completely like comprehend it now. And each one is just holding a mirror.
Yes.
And that mirror is reflecting to you what you cannot see within yourself. Like,
Yes.
just for a moment, what a beautiful world we created, all these gifts.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're not taught to see the world that way, you're not seeing the communication that's being bombarded to you all the time to
Mm-hmm.
lead you back to self. But
Mm-hmm.
if you even begin like with like the intellect to challenge yourself, like, okay, I'm gonna go out today. Whatever I witness, I'm gonna see how I'm triggered, what is making me feel, what communication then you begin to learn
Yeah.
about self, because
Yeah.
nobody can trigger you, nobody can make you feel anything. I don't care what the world says. No one can make you feel anything. You are the
Mm-hmm.
person, the creator that makes yourself feel that way because of what's deep, deep, deep beyond there's always this old operating system that's working
Mm-hmm.
in the background that we don't even realize it's working. It's lurking in the shadows, not as an evil, but lurking in the shadows. It's doing its thing. It's meant to do
Mm-hmm.
its thing.
Mm-hmm.
You place all these inputs, and this like program is playing over and over again. So now you're beginning to unravel that program and go like within it and begin to put new inputs like in there and see what the response is. You'll be amazed about the
Mm-hmm.
synchronicities. Like, speaking of the idea of synchronicities, you go out there, you'll realize you're being communicated constantly by everything, everyone, every experience, and even you begin hearing things and seeing things, and your world begins shifting. So we
Mm-hmm.
do live in a magical world. We just aren't taught it is. We're taught
Yes.
the other side of the spectrum.
Well, because it's easy, when you're factoring in conditioning, when you're factoring in reaction. For every action, there's a reaction. So, if something goes bad in your day, instead of saying, "Okay, I can't control what's going on, but I can control how I perceive it or how I deal with it."
Yeah.
Instead, it's natural to react to that, and usually, aggressively. In my case, aggressively, if it's not doing, anything very kind, or if it's something just I look at a lot of things as just useful or useless energy.
Yeah.
Anything that draws me away from the
Yeah.
positive aspects of my day, I look at as this is just useless energy,
Yeah.
right?
That's one way of
I know I'm a bit eccentric, so I have
no,
weird
no,
ways.
I love it. I'm like, you guys should see my face. I'm like, that's one way that I roll my eyes. I'm like, that's one way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
No, but look, this is the beauty of being an infinite being.
Yes.
And like, this is how you begin to give value to every part of the infinite. So even
Yes.
you, like, seeing the world that way from that perspective has value to you through that experience.
Hmm.
Or we're taught that
Hmm.
value looks like this.
Yes.
If you do this, that's not valuable. So like the
Yes.
praying mantis like talk about the spectrum of judgment, right? That we've been
Hmm.
taught. If you're on the positive side of things, if you're
Hmm.
happy, successful, loving, doing this, living like a rosy life, I don't know what else, all the happy
Yes.
stories, then you're ascending, life is great, you're doing the right thing, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like going through trauma or drama, I don't know, upset, feeling suicidal, feeling like you want to kill somebody today, like literally,
Yeah.
because that's part of reality. That's real. Like
Yes.
that side of the
Yes.
spectrum, then that's bad. That's evil. Bury it away. You cannot be that. You cannot be the
Mm-hmm.
judgment of that. When in reality,
Yeah.
it's all creation.
Yes.
When in reality, it's all creation. But we're not taught to see the value in what's happening there. We are
Mm-hmm.
devaluing this part of us. No
Mm-hmm.
wonder we keep feeling separate. No
Mm-hmm.
wonder we're not meeting the divine. No wonder we're not feeling whole. Because
Mm-hmm.
also through religion and other, I don't know, perhaps like spiritual like teachings, we
Mm-hmm.
were told God is good.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
if God is bad, then it's the devil. That's the other part you never want to meet. There is no good, there is no evil as part of the
Mhm.
creation. Experiences itself, it's all experiential. It
Mhm.
allows itself to be the infinite through the experiences of all of it. But also because you're infinite, like if you comprehend you're infinite, you understand there's no death to begin with.
Mhm.
There is no death. You
Mhm.
never die. So the
No.
act of killing, even
Mhm.
as oh, I mean, I'm not saying you guys should go out there and like kill people. That's not what I'm
No,
saying.
no, no.
But
No.
like just viewing the experience,
Yes.
like of that when when we say this person is killing that or this insect is killing,
Mhm.
there is no killing, because if there's no death and you're infinite, then
Mhm.
what are you killing? You're just taking off costume, right? But
Mhm.
the grander concept that triggers people, and people have a hard time understanding and absorbing, because we've been so conditioned to see God as one thing, as the good and positive. God doesn't see itself as like good and positive to begin with.
Mhm.
God
Well,
is
it's everything. It's everywhere.
exactly, exactly. And what is
It's
everything?
uniform, right? In everything.
Totally. And what is everything? Everything is all
Yes.
of it.
Yes.
The happy, the
Yes.
not happy, the in between, the gray, the all like
Yes.
all of it. But we're not
Infinite. Yes.
the infinite, exactly.
Yes. Yes.
And our physicality, the way that we're living here, this three-dimensional world, this like density of our hands,
Mhm.
we're only experiencing again as dense and bones and nails and what and hard and the hardness of our body and world,
Mhm.
because we have definitions to allow us to experience energy. And my ear
Mhm.
is ringing, by the way, completely ringing right now. Our energy in a denser form, it's an experiential journey. But through this life, through the drama, trauma, blah blah blah,
Mhm.
this whole path, it
Mhm.
is ascension. But we're not taught to see it as ascension. And here's how we're devaluing our life. That's how we're
Mhm.
devaluing humanity. Because
Yes.
again, unless you are on this spectrum of like living, then you are of value. If on that spectrum you are of no value or doing something wrong, you're broken. Something must be, you need to fix yourself. You need to heal yourself. You need to repair yourself. Judgment, 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 judgment.
Yes. Yes.
Even to the act of sickness, even if I like manifest, I mean, I manifested like disc pain. So
Mhm.
for 5, 6 years now, I haven't gone to the gym. I lost all my muscle mass. I gained 60 pounds. I just lost like, I had this disc pain where, it would flare up, and I'm hunched over for a week. I
Yes.
cannot wipe myself. I cannot use the restroom.
Yes.
I would be
Yes.
terrified to get out of bed. I am incapacitated in my own prison of
Mhm.
even to sneeze would terrify me because it would create, you
Yes.
know, but I created it. And through that experience, although it was intense and like painful, and I felt
Mm.
so disempowered, there was a moment where I surrendered into the pain. I
Mm.
began screaming in bed, just screaming because that's the only thing I could do that doesn't
Mhm.
require like a movement. In that screaming, like at the top of my lungs,
Mhm.
I realized the reason that I was experiencing and feeling pain because I was resisting to sound myself. The act of sounding and screaming allowed that pain to dissipate. Literally,
Yes.
but it was absolutely scary. It took me 4.5 years to get to that point.
Mhm.
But the beautiful like thing like about that journey, because I would have these like spine pains where I couldn't walk, and I stopped going to the gym. I needed to do something. I began going to the forest. I found a tree in the middle of
Ah.
the woods, away from the path. Like
Yes.
I didn't want to be near people. I wanted to be in nature.
Mhm.
And I found this beautiful tree. And there's nothing special like about it apart from the fact I was drawn to be with it. And I
Mhm.
named her Rose. And I sat with her for like 365 days. I would go there every other day for the
Yeah.
whole year. And that began my spiritual awakening. That began this whole. Um, so because of that, and like when I look back, I'm like, wow, what an absolute gift this pain spine thing that happened, which still here, it like flares up every once in a while, although I've been shifting it, and it hasn't happened like as much, and I've been feeling more empowered with like my own body, that I'm not broken, that
Mhm.
even if I'm hunched over and I can't use the restroom or pee or even like wipe myself
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
cough or literally get out of bed would be absolutely in terror. I would be
Mm.
paralyzed for hours
Mhm. Mhm.
wanting to pee, but I cannot because the least movement would just it's like I'd have this like white pain because the bulge would hit the nerve of the spine, and I'm
Mm.
like it's just intense. I call it like white pain. I don't know how else to call it.
Yes.
Um, but like what a journey it was, and when you begin to have a relationship with what seems to be pain in a prison from a different perspective, you begin to receive the gifts from that perspective. But if
Mhm.
I keep saying, why is it happening to me? Why is
Mhm.
it back pain? I keep like disempowering myself. Oh, um, um, I'm like, God must be punishing me or whoever, which like, whatever deity you believe,
Mhm.
they must be
Mhm.
punished. What did I do like wrong in life? I mean, blah, blah, blah. All the all the
Mhm.
paradigm of like this empowerment. When we go on that road, we create a reality of that road, and we create messages of that vibration. But when we
Mhm.
step back even through the pain, and begin to challenge ourselves, okay, again, in a playful manner, although in this, you may be a bit in pain or whatever, but in a
Mhm.
playful manner, is okay, pain, what are you trying to show me that I cannot see? And I am willing to work with you to
Mhm.
show me something I'm very blind to.
Mhm.
That intention literally will shift everything. And I like begin working like with my pain, and I begin thanking, which before I didn't think. I cussed it out. I
Mhm.
felt, why in the hell is it happening? Like, why is it
Mhm.
happening? And feeling so like
Mhm.
so small. When it
Yes.
happens, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna thank you, pain. I don't know what I cannot see, but I am so grateful that you're here, and I
Mhm.
know that through this act of gratefulness, this energy of gratefulness, that the messages will begin to clear, they become like clear to me. And
Mhm.
believe me, like when I say this, when you give gratitude to something you don't
Mhm.
understand and give it unconditional love, and begin to realize that it is part of ascension, it is part of creation,
Mhm.
and you're building a relationship, a co-creation with it versus
Mhm.
a like
Resistance.
exactly distance. And
Resistance is hard. I
resist
mean, two magnets resist. It's no matter what you do, same idea.
very, very. But we're not taught like to see like sickness as a gift.
No.
We're taught, if you get cancer or have a back pain or diabetes, I
Mhm.
don't know, all the list of things that we have,
Mhm.
like something is wrong, or it's everything. But if we stop for a moment, understand what that is, that's also creation.
Mhm.
Even creation of the experience, like of cancer, is creation by the creator, right? Like,
Mhm.
because like beneath all of it, and this is where you expand your level of like ascension, beneath it
Mhm.
all, what's the engine that is allowing cancer to be cancer?
Mhm.
Energy of creation.
Yes.
And what's creation? Creation is God. So
Mhm.
no way on earth, God, however you
Mhm.
see it, energy, source, Jesus, all of the
Mhm.
labels. No way on earth that energy of creation and of intelligence beyond what we can even comprehend that word means
Mhm.
could create something that isn't for expansion. But
Yes.
it takes a lot of deconstruction of old belief systems
Mhm.
to, in a sense, reach that level. And so this is where you work with yourself and talk to yourself, and regardless of what the world's saying, I don't care what doctors say, I don't care what other, don't even listen to me. That's what I'm saying. Listen
Yeah.
to yourself, begin empower yourself, because the wisdom lies within you, the power um, lies like within you. You are a creator, you are a
Mhm.
facet and a part of all of it.
Which
um
has to have balance.
yes,
Like I do light work, but I also do shadow work. So
yes,
there has to be that balance to give a proper understanding.
totally, totally, totally.
Yeah.
And all of it with unconditional love,
Mhm.
all of it with the understanding that under that energy, under the label of what I call pain, under the label, because it's all labels. Because
Mhm.
what's the experience like of emotion on the whole like segment, on the whole spectrum?
Mhm.
Happy, depressed, suicidal, in pain,
Mhm.
confused,
Mhm.
ecstatic, blah blah blah. All these words that we created.
Mhm.
What's under those labels? What is the
Mhm.
engine that's creating that? It's creation. It's this energy that's neutral. God has no
Mhm.
um it has no polarity. It is what it is. It is just this energy of creation. But through the labeling of things, we experience shades of what that
Mhm.
creation is. But
Mhm.
in essence, it is. So the unconditional love aspect of it is realizing
Mhm.
it is even part of me. Pain is me. Back
Mhm.
pain is me. Cancer is me.
Mhm.
These are different shades of creation that are going to allow me to see things beyond
Mhm.
what I'm able to see until I surrender. But if I keep resisting it and denying it and not wanting it to show me, you're not going to see what the
Mhm.
gift is. I mean, there's so many miraculous like things that would happen when you come face to face, for example, like with cancer, right?
Mhm.
When you
Mhm.
come face to face and not listen anymore to the old paradigm of, how am I going to beat it?
Yes.
Or any sickness, there's no beating anything. It is you
Mhm.
to begin with. But even to come with a comprehension that cancer is me, that I
Mhm.
came in the form of cancer to myself, to allow
Mhm.
myself to
Mhm.
see something deeper within me that I could not have experienced and unless I had it through that unconditional love of that energy that is
Mhm.
coming to you to show you something. Unless you surrender to it fully
Mhm.
surrender, as afraid as you can be, and as
Mhm.
disintegrated you may feel, and as disempowered as an illusion you may feel
Mhm.
by surrendering. When you surrender into it, you realize
Mhm.
it's not the scary monster that we thought it was. But
Yeah.
we're not taught to see it that way. We create the aspect of it that is scary, that is killing us, that is making us more sick.
Mhm.
Because we're always afraid of it. Why do I have cancer? How can I get rid of it? How can I push it away? Or
Mhm.
whatever. Like, I
Mhm.
stutter, I've stuttered all of my life, and it was a curse, and it was a prison.
Mhm.
I mean, I couldn't
Mhm.
speak when I was younger. And I actually had a job interview when I was 33. Completely not, I didn't bomb the interview itself of answering the question. I
Mhm.
bombed the fact I couldn't even speak. I had tunnel
Yes.
vision. I was like, and the people felt, and I saw the look in their eyes of the three
Mhm.
people that were interviewing me. This, like image of horror
Mhm.
in their eyes, feeling so, um, like whether it was pity for me or they felt
Mhm.
bad for me or they're like, oh my
Yes.
god. And then of course they didn't give me the job because if I can't speak in front of them, how in the hell am I going to speak
Yes.
with clients?
Yes.
Imagine. And this is just feeling a prisoner of speech.
Mhm.
But I've worked with that and I began seeing it as a gift because I didn't speak as much. It allowed me to connect with energy. It allowed me to
Mhm.
speak in other ways. It allowed me to go into spaces where where like words wasn't required. And now I don't stutter as much, although like there are times where I'm very bad at stuttering. I use the word and I use the word like often. And you may,
Yes.
if you begin to hear it, you will like notice. And here I say like it's a
Mhm.
bridge for me. It helps me bridge because if I don't say it, I go
Mhm.
anyhow. Like for the longest time, I hated it. I absolutely hate. I didn't comprehend why it's there. I'm broken. It must be from a past life. I
Mhm.
probably was like cussing people out. That's why I came into this world. Not
Ah,
even, but you create
yes.
stories of why.
Yes.
Um, Never like seeing the other side of the token
Mhm.
of how giftful can this be?
Well, we're prisoners within our physical selves.
Yeah.
And that limits us into our thinking, I believe,
Mhm.
and how we feel things, how
Yeah.
we project
Yeah.
energy to be able, yet, you know, psychokinesis and telekinesis, like energy projection, is so easy for us to do because we really are powerful beings. But I don't know that we recognize it when it happens. I have people who will call me and say, "There's something in the house. Can you come and check it out?" I'm just like, I could just tap in and go, well, no, there's nothing there, but you are projecting this. And it's very difficult for them to accept that answer. It's easier for them to think there's an outside source creating this havoc.
Of course, and that's disempowerment. Why would they believe it when they've been conditioned that it's always an outside source?
Hmm.
How can it be me? How on earth can it
Yeah.
be me?
Hmm.
And even when you pray, you're praying to an outside source that even intensifies the belief system that it's
Hmm.
not me, that I'm not godly enough. But when you begin to realize you are divine,
Hmm.
you are, when like Jesus, look, I grew up Christian Orthodox, so I know like some Bible stuff, but I
Yeah.
haven't like read the Bible in a long time. So
Hmm.
don't quote me on this. But like
Hmm.
there was a quote where he says, I'm made in the image of you, or something like that, or
Hmm.
vice versa, or you're made in the image of me.
Hmm.
Listen to the words. Like the ingredients of God, of the divine, those ingredients are within you.
Hmm.
Within you. So how
Hmm.
can you not have the power? But we're not taught to
Hmm.
see the Bible.
Because a lot of times you don't think you're worthy.
Yes, it's all totally, totally, totally,
Yeah.
totally. That's where
Yeah.
self-love comes in.
Yeah.
That's where the real journey is, all about
Yes.
self-love. Because it
Yes.
begins there. Because
Right.
you may think you're loving somebody else unconditionally. It's an act of,
Mm.
it's like the fantasy and idea of, but until you begin unconditionally loving yourself, you're really not vibrating on the true unconditional love for others. But
Mhm.
we're trying on the journey. There's nothing wrong with even acting loving. But
Yes.
we've been conditioned. You do this, that's an act of love. You do
Yes.
that, that's an act of love. You do
Mhm.
this, that is not an act of love.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
for example, homelessness. So I live in Washington D.C., and I'm sure all over the world, like there's homelessness, right? In
Mhm.
the old days, I used to, because I was conditioned that way. Like before I awoke, I
Mhm.
would see um, a homeless being, and of course you give them money and food or a coat or whatever will you have, or and like you come back and you help because we're taught and trained that's what you do to help others. But at the same time, what we're also taught is to see that person as disempowered. This
Yes.
is the life they created, blah, blah, blah. This must be like a karma from another life, blah, blah, blah. That we're giving off energy, the intention. We're seeing them as disempowered beings. Through the praying mantises, it was an amazing like channeling session, like for a client and I learned a lot of my information like through the mantises, like through my channel sessions, like with people. And like they said, imagine for a moment how infinitely powered this being must have been. This soul that has chosen to live a life of complete limitation. You think you have a life of limitation? Look at that life, for example. Imagine how powerful that soul must have been to have chosen consciously to come to Earth and be so, through the illusion of like this empowerment, to live that life. It takes a powerful ascended master to choose that. And I'm getting chills all over my body right now.
Yeah.
But also through us witnessing what seems to be a disempowered being allows our heart to open up with compassion for us to dig deeper into the layers of love that we cannot comprehend exist. Everything in infinite, even the idea of love and unconditional love exist in infinite depth, right?
Yes.
But when you begin to see that like the homeless being from the intention and the energy of, because now like what I do, I literally say thank you. I literally I'm getting chills right now. Thank you so much for being more powerful than me, Ascended Master, to have chosen that life, to allow my heart to open by witnessing you. Me recognizing them as the Ascended Master and me being grateful for them to have chosen to live that life sends them energy of remembrance of who they are as empowered beings. And not the old paradigm, and chills are still here, and not the old paradigm as me like seeing them as like broken or whatever. There is a co-creation, and that's how we help each other remember who we are. So be mindful, like the next time when you see be mindful how you see experiences, whether it's experiencing a homeless being, a war, or like things where in the old ways there's like this empowerment. Begin to thank that soul to have chosen that life. Begin to thank that soul, and recognize it in your mind that it is Ascended Master. You send that energy. That's an activation for them to begin to snap out of that. Okay, you experience homelessness. Now it's time for you to experience. Should you choose to like experience something else, very different dynamic. And like those are the little things, the small little tweaks you do with the words, with the way you think, with the way that shifts your whole reality. Those are the angles of beginning to create magic within your world, and that's really unconditional love.
Yes. This part of I think that's exactly the missing link. I think is how we perceive everything that's coming in and what we're putting out, and able to A, manifest, B, recognizing synchronicities, recognizing our spirit guides, recognizing the messages that they're trying to give.
Yes, and thank you for saying that. I'm like, if you see my eyes, people, if you're, I know you have some people that are just listening and not visual, but if you can, like, absolutely, and also, and here comes the world of limitation and placing things in a box. We think of spirit guides oftentimes as angels or whatever, mantis beings or other beings. Spirit guides are also humans. Even that homeless guy that you saw, that butterfly that just flew, the experience that you witnessed, this man that just smiled for you for 1 second, just looking out of the car and you smiled and nodded. Spirit guides come in many ways, guys. Angels come in many ways. It could be a cloud in the sky. It could be a word on a car, like on a truck that you just passed by. Communication through angels and guides and beings is always around us, but we're not taught to see it that way. We're taught it has to be like some grand epiphany.
Well, that's where the synchronicities come in.
Totally. Our angelic messages.
Yes. 2 days ago, I was looking for an answer. And I'm like, I I'm looking for a real answer here. I was very frustrated because usually they just, I'll get downloads, I'll get visions, I get, and I mean, it was about 3 days. I'm going, okay, I do not know what I have to do to ask for blah, 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 blah. So anyway, I'm just scrolling through one of my feeds,
Yeah.
because I'm just reading articles and getting ready for a specific,
Yeah.
show that I have to do on somebody else's show. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, this message comes up and it goes, "Stop believing what you believe." And I'm going, well, that's a bit vague. And then anyway, so I ignore it and I keep going, but I recognized it at least. And then another one came in that completely lined up with that one. And it's
Totally.
just a bloody like picture meme thing. But the message is just like, well, if this is what you're going to do, and this is the only way I'm going to reach you, because we get busy, we don't pay attention.
Totally. And we're not taught to train ourselves to be aware of that, right?
Yes.
And we're always taught that like messages are so dramatic.
Yes.
We have to have something insane. No, messages are subtle.
Yes.
Messages are subtle. And when you begin to listen to the subtleties of things, let me
Yeah.
give you one example that just happened this morning.
Okay.
So I was in the shower and I was looking outside the window. Like we have bird feeders and like squirrel like feeders, and
Yeah.
we love we love animals.
Wildlife, nature. Yeah.
We love nature and we love bringing them to our home just to witness them and give them food and just experience. And I realized our window is really dirty, like from the outside. I mean, it's not super dirty, but I can't see the bird clear. I'm like, I want to see the color of the bird.
Yeah.
And literally this morning, as I was getting in the shower, I'm like, okay, I need to find a window guy to clean the windows because we haven't cleaned them in like 2 years. This afternoon around 6 p.m., like we were watering in the grass, and I've been watering the grass for the past week because they were seeding and they were cleaning the
Yeah.
grass. And the guy said you have to water them for the next week. I'm like, oh God, the drama of it all. I wish we
Yeah.
had sprinklers, right? Anyways, three-dimensional, I want to say the B word, complaining. Can I say the B word? Okay,
Yeah.
complaining.
Go ahead. Go
Right now,
ahead.
complaining.
Yes.
And I'm like, ugh, I don't feel like watering like the grass today because I have this podcast. I'm like, I just want to relax and I go do it. As I'm taking the hose out there, like with the sprinkler, this young kid like shows up. I don't know where, like a 16-year-old that goes to a really cool high school here, and he says, "Hey, sir, like, do you mind if I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Yeah, please call me Tony. Don't call me sir."
Yeah.
I'm still young. And then he says, "Hey, we do window cleaning, and all the money goes to our high school." This happened 2 hours ago. I swear to God. And then I was on the phone like with my friend who's like super spiritual, and like she said, "Oh my God, instant manifestation! Look how the universe just dropped somebody out of nowhere." Because I was gonna look for somebody,
Yeah, and there it
with
was.
half price, and
Yeah.
it goes to high school kids, which is amazing. It's like great support, like locally.
Yeah.
If
I know.
I hadn't listened to my soul to water the
Yes.
grass, although I complained I didn't want to go water the grass,
Yes.
it took a second. We would have missed each other.
See?
So the point is that is an angelic being that dropped out of nowhere and said, "You know
Mhm.
what? You want clear picture, or like you want a
Yes.
clear view of your birds and squirrels when they're feeding, and
Yes.
we have amazing birds that come by. Here, I'm gonna. You don't even have to think about it or
And
even
it's
work."
something so simple. It's not this big dramatic,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's not this big
yes.
dramatic production. It's just like,
It's not like an apparition like we see
yeah,
in like the
exactly.
Bible. Oh, like Mother Mary appeared and whatever. It's not like that because we're
Yeah.
always communicated by. And when you begin to
Yes.
see that, that's how you begin to value the world you live in. That's how you
Yes.
begin to bring value and give value to
Mhm.
your surrounding.
Mhm.
We are surrounded by ascended angels and masters that are called
Yeah.
human beings and insects and
Mhm.
plants and like the clouds and the winds and like
Mhm.
letters on cars and songs and memories and
I've seen names on the back of transports twice, and very significant, the exact name. One, my mother was passing and I was going north, and my maiden name was on the back of a truck. It's not a common maiden name, and the spelling was exact, and it's not the common way to spell it. And I'm looking at it going, all right, I'm listening.
Hold on. Let me give you one other synchronicity that happened about 3 weeks ago. That just also happened today.
Yes.
So like, we've lived in this house for 6, 7 years.
Yes.
We had 2 times where there was like a wasp inside the home, a big wasp. Like I have no idea
Yeah.
why a wasp would appear. Like, it was just odd. So like this happened 3 weeks ago, like where a wasp came in. And of course, I got a huge Ziploc bag, one of those big like gallon ones. I'm like, okay, let me put you in there because I don't want to kill him or her.
Yes.
and like I and he went in there, and I like and I went outside and like released him.
Yes.
Um, an hour later, my husband says, so his mom passed away about 10 years ago,
Mm.
and his aunt was really close to her sister
Yeah.
and to my husband.
Mhm.
And every once in a while, like once or twice a year, she sends an item of his mom in the mail out of the blue.
Mm.
Out of the blue. And like they keep doing that. Like they keep sending this purse that shows up on our door, like
Yeah.
in a box every, I don't know, 8 months. Like you just don't know. It's just super random.
Yes.
This time she sent him this letter that like the sisters wrote to each other
Mhm.
of like all of their childhood memories, and it was 10 items.
Yes.
And he didn't tell me that like this came like 2 weeks ago. That day when we saw the wasp, he actually shares that letter with me, but he misses to read the whole letter, like like all of the
Yes.
10 items.
Yes.
As I'm reading it, I freak out. I'm like, Greg, your mom is here. He's like, what? I'm like, your mom is here. He's like, what do you mean? I said, read this. On item number 3, it said, sister, do you remember when we were like 12 years old and like she sat down on the couch and she sat down on a wasp?
No. And the wasp is in the house.
And Craig misses his mom, like he has grieved her. He's very close, like he's been having a real hard time to understand her passing, although it's been 10 years. His mom was in the house.
That's crazy.
Like the fact that I took time to read that letter, the fact that he showed me that letter that he'd had for 2 weeks and
Yeah.
missed that part. The day when we found the wasp, for me to find that word wasp, I'm like, you see the
Yeah.
synchronicity? I
Yes,
said, your mom.
exactly.
Totally. So that's how it
Exactly.
happened. I said, your mom was here.
Yes.
So subtle
Yes.
messages, guys. Yeah,
But I love it because that's not something that you would necessarily recognize.
totally. I mean, I didn't recognize it like until the synchronicity
Because
happened.
it's not even a great experience having a wasp in the house. You make running for cover, so you end up with this message that has this memory in it, and then all of a sudden, at the same time, like
Yes.
wasps are not
Yeah.
lovely.
But
They're
hold on.
nature, but they're not friendly.
Listen, totally. And like speaking of person who speaks to the mantis beings, I used to
Yes,
be
okay, this is true. I'll give
I
it
used
to
to be
you.
no. But listen, I used to be terrified of insects. I would
Yeah.
run the other side screaming.
Yes.
Nothing crawly, nothing with multi-legged, definitely not wasps or bees.
Yes.
But ever since I awoke, I began to challenge myself to view everything as consciousness and light. Like it's God, God
Yes.
in the form of a wasp. But
Yes.
because we're trained, wasps bite you or like they sting you and blah blah blah. And
They hurt.
yes, but listen, they hurt through the experience of seeing them as hurtful beings because we never
Yes.
saw them as light beings and godly beings. But
No.
when you begin to shift that paradigm and begin to challenge yourself, like this like doesn't mean you have to go grab a wasp today, but in your mind, with your intention, the energy that you're giving off, because remember, guys, we're all energy beings. What you say, what you think, what you
Mhm.
intend, what you imagine, what you daydream is energy. It's all wavelength that's being uh, um, that is permeating. And here comes the
Mhm.
stuttering into
Mhm.
the fabric of the universe. So when you permeate energy, I recognize you as a divine being,
Of
wasp.
of energy, yeah.
Then
But
they
you know
recognize it and they're not gonna sting you because they see you as one with
mhm.
them. They
And you know
don't.
what's interesting when you say that with energy?
Yeah.
I find people, for example, with autism. I have a niece with autism, and she comes in one day into the house, and my sister's there. But they have an innocence about them. Their energy is just very, very different, and they're very advanced. I believe in their abilities. And she comes in with this big bumblebee, and my sister's like, "It's in the house!" And this bumblebee is just walking along on her finger, and she's just kind of patting it.
Listen, for a person that's been afraid of all insects, I have
Yes.
bees. I have bees landing on me. I had three, like, and I used to be afraid of bees. And but autistic kids or the idea of autism is not what it is. They're
Yes.
one of the most. They're star seeds
Yes.
beyond star seeds. They see the world without our limitation. They literally experience the world
Yes.
not the way we do. They literally see the fabric of like reality. They see energies. That's why
Yes.
the mind is overwhelmed because.
Yes.
But there's a thing that has gone viral in the past 2 months called telepathy tapes, all
Yes.
about autism.
Yes.
Big thing. And
Yes.
I'm on the board of autistic kids for 8 years now,
Oh,
which is
very nice.
ironically enough. I don't even
Very
know how
nice.
I got on it. Don't even ask me how I got it, but I'm on it.
Yes. Yes.
Obviously, like spirits led me there. And I always knew they literally comprehend the world
Mm.
they're beyond us.
Yes.
There's no limitation within their vision and the way they communicate
Yes.
with their parents, but the parents aren't aware of the communication. They
Yes.
communicate with beings. It's the most
They're
amazing children.
brilliant. They're brilliant.
Brilliant beyond imagination.
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah,
love that. And that just talks again about this vibration and frequency that they put
yeah,
out there. I mean, she
yeah.
could hear all kinds of things. My sister, I mean, my family is like highly intuitive. And this girl would be just like, you know, she heard a growl one time and I had just finished working with this family that had something growly around it.
Yeah.
And she looks at her mother and she goes, Mom, she goes, who's growling? I'm like, sorry, that's with me. Sorry. I didn't want to scare her. But that's the thing is she wasn't.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah, yeah,
so calm about it.
yeah.
And I'm just like, it's amazing, working with families that have special needs children in that way,
Mm,
how they're so highly gifted on different levels. It's incredible to watch it unfold.
totally. And if the parents are taught, if our education like system through the um, like with kids with like need, I mean, it's not kids with needs; they're kids with abilities, really.
Yes.
Abilities. We don't.
Exactly.
Their way. It's not needs or
It's
special.
poorly labeled. Yes. Yeah.
Totally. They're gifted
Yes.
beyond our comprehension. But
Yes.
if we teach the parents that they do communicate but differently,
Mhm.
then like the parents can begin to turn on the subtle like radar to begin to
Yes.
communicate with their kids.
Yes.
And I mean, it's just amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I
And
know. I
speaking of
love it.
yeah, I mean, look, we can even go beyond like rocks and like crystals. Right?
Yes.
We can
That.
get crystal
Yes.
structures I'm showing crystal here or like crystal mantis
Yes.
skulls or like crystal human skulls or rocks. Everything
Mhm.
is consciousness and you can communicate to them if
And
you
they
believe.
choose you.
Yes, they
I
do.
took me forever to find one, and I found a very unique crystal skull from Brazil, and it chose me. The most unique thing I have ever seen.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
that's mine.
Yes.
Right.
But if
So,
totally, but if you believe, which a lot of humans believe through our society, that it's an inanimate object, has no
mhm,
emotion, has no sense, it's just
mhm,
an object,
mhm,
then obviously you're not gonna see it as that. You're not gonna co-create with it
mhm,
as like intelligence and as consciousness,
mhm,
and you're not gonna receive the messages. You already like denied it in a sense
mhm,
its own value as part of consciousness. So challenge yourself.
mhm.
I mean, like computer chips. Aren't computer chips made of I don't know crystal
Crystals?
something? I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So it's like
Yeah, it's true.
it's everywhere, like around us, but yet we still deny it.
Well, let's talk about your crystals that you do because you do mantis ones. And how do you connect them with
Yeah.
people?
So I'll show you a few. So uh I have I have an amber that I wear around my necklace
Mhm.
that has a 20 million year old, which you see on my website, 20 million year old praying mantis insect.
Wow.
Like from Chiapas, Mexico, that I won synchronistically. Don't even ask me how. And I thought it was going to go thousands of dollars. It did go thousands of dollars, but not as high as I thought it was.
Yes.
It's in there. Like you'll see it on my website. It's hard
Oh,
to
it's
see.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
So,
Beautiful.
so I activate all of them like with this energy. I have my own shamanic ritual,
Mhm,
but I'm the only one in the world. Although I thought many people do them, because I tried to buy them and I realized nobody makes them. So I began making them for me, really, But then
mhm.
I received the calling to share.
Yes.
Praying mantis crystal heads.
That's crazy.
Amazing
Yes.
crystal. Now I have like new ones that are coming, like with eyes, and I'll show you. So this is like another crystal one that's amazing.
Yes. Yes.
So I imbue them with all kinds of activation and whatever you need. If you want to connect spirit guides, if you want to heal yourself, if you want to X, Y, and Z, I can imbue them with like specific like messages. But the idea is not for you to rely on me to imbue them. It's for you to rely on yourself to
Yes.
communicate with them, because they are intelligent. This is glass. I'm also changing the idea about glass is also consciousness. Glass
Yes.
has beautiful colors. And then like soon enough, I'm gonna show you a quick photo of the new skulls that have eyes,
Yes.
um, that are being made as we speak. Just give me 1
Yeah,
second.
of course.
Uh, Here, Jesse. So they're gonna look similar to this. I'm still renditioning at like we're working with a designer on.
Yes.
So like you're gonna see some black marks there, but like
Ah, I love it. I
yeah,
love it.
the new praying
Yeah.
mantis skulls have eyes, like eyes made out of
Yeah.
obsidian.
Yeah. I love
So
it.
so yes, everything is
Yes.
consciousness, and you can communicate and like commune and speak to it to
Mhm.
assist you. Because remember, we are made of crystalline structures. We are crystal beings to begin with,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Um,
Mhm.
uh, so I'm the only one in the world. You're not gonna find any other human that makes immense crystal.
Yes.
This is how much I connected with. And again, my whole connection like just began as of 3.5 years ago.
Yes.
But it's so visceral that I'm doing.
Yes. Yes.
Um, You
Yes.
can. So now I'm making like medium size that you can hold, take with you, or because I have big ones, but big ones like they're heavy, like 3 pounds or whatever. So these
Yes.
are, I don't know, whatever. It's you can travel
Yes.
with them. You can do like crystal gridding, like with these skulls. You can take them wherever you travel and bring the energy back and heal Mother Earth. Like there's all kinds of things you can work with the skies, like
Yes.
with the stars, with them, with beings. I mean, there's so many ways you can
Mhm.
like do alchemy, like alchemy.
Yes.
You're all magicians.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, so you can find them on my website, although I haven't put the small ones yet. I need
Yes.
to
I'll
add
put
that
the
part.
website back
But
up
just
again.
email
So,
me and I can show you like the collection that I have. I haven't marketed them like a lot yet.
yeah.
I would take them to events like where I would sell them there, but I haven't done heavy marketing yet. Although it will
Okay.
happen
There we
soon.
go. I'll put it
Yeah,
up in the chat rooms
thank
and
you.
all our chat rooms, and it's up on here. So, and it's also in the show description, guys. So go check out the website
Yeah,
and look at all the goodies in there that you can
I
connect with
know,
Tony.
I know, and they're amazing. Because
Yeah.
what are they really? They're part of you. They're not
Yes.
separate than you. They're another version of you that are living as
Yes.
this crystalline consciousness.
Yes.
And believe me, guys, even like forget about crystal skulls and just the belief of actual things.
Mhm.
If you begin to just to work with your mind, say, okay, like today I'm going to stretch my mind.
Mhm.
Play, play with ideas, and in a sense test yourself to begin to
Mhm.
challenge yourself to see your world, to see the way you've been creating in a different way. And believe me when I say you're going to see the synchronicities. It's instantaneous manifestation when you begin to have the intention to shift.
Mhm. Yes.
And all you need, like Michelle said, one example where you show yourself, you prove to yourself
Mhm.
that like a miraculous thing happened
Mhm.
that will change your world. That will begin the fuel of unraveling, literally.
Mhm.
Like you're grabbing the thread and unraveling like a sweater. You're
Yes.
unraveling of who you are. But
Mhm.
then you're gonna get to a point you like begin working on self where you realize you never knew who you are.
So you almost have to go back to basics.
I'll
Yeah.
give you another synchronicity. I was in Mexico a month. I was in Mexico like 4 times already the past 6
Mhm.
months. But
Yeah,
most
yeah.
recent trip, I was with a shaman. Like we did bufo,
Mhm.
um, the the toad medicine.
Mhm.
And after I did it, I had a realization. I thought I knew who Toni Ghazi is.
Uh-oh.
I realized I have so many identities that I placed on myself,
Oh boy.
and identities that like society and like my parents and
Yeah.
placed on me. But I got to meet Toni, the naked Tony, the one that was just born,
Mhm.
a blank canvas of creation. And
Mhm.
I stood there like literally like with my arms down for an hour, did not move an inch, crying,
Mhm.
tears flowing because I had that first meeting with him and I didn't even know he existed.
Mm-hmm.
That was the epiphany. I had no idea he was there because I thought I knew who Toni was.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, I realized all of the versions, all of the identities, all of the versions of me that were placed either on me by society, by parents, by my own stories,
Yeah. Yeah.
are also like my identities, but they are the suppressed version, the limited version.
Yes.
I got to meet the uninhibited, naked one in a sense who is creation.
Mm-hmm.
And that totally changed my world. I have this obsession now to go meet him again. Like I cannot wait to get to experience him again and to begin to see myself as this divine.
Mm-hmm. Like your higher self, essentially.
Very, very,
Yes.
very. But I had no
Yes.
clue he was there. I thought he was all these versions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I grew up in the Lebanese Civil War, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And like for the longest time, I would tell my friends, and like this is another epiphany that happened while we were at the retreat.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell my friends for years, I don't remember my childhood like before 10. I have no memories, like maybe in a small memory, but I have no idea. And I was molested as a child sexually,
Mm-hmm.
blah, 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 like whatever. I
Mhm.
never saw that as a bad thing. Maybe I have
Yes.
repressed part of it that I don't,
Mm-hmm.
And I was with my friends and like they were talking about memory, and I'm like, you know what, guys, I don't remember anything like beyond 10 or 12. I just don't. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, have you been through anything traumatic? I'm like, no, like just I've been through molestation, which in my mind right now, now I don't see it as trauma, but maybe there is a repressed part I cannot. And my friend asked me, did you live through the Lebanese Civil War? Literally, she said that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes. How can I have forgotten? For a moment, all of a sudden, memories begin flooded.
Yes.
Flooding memories of like bombs and the anxiety level and the fear level that lasted for months and months and months. We couldn't go to school, and the constant bombing, constant like noise of war and screaming and blood and whatever else begin flooding in. But
Well, the subconscious has a way of protecting you, right? So it puts everything in the back seat.
And just 2 days ago,
wow,
I was talking on a Zoom call, about spirituality, and this friend said, give gratitude to the part of you that protected you from those memories.
Yes.
But my mind, I'm like, how could I have forgotten such memories that were so traumatic? Like,
yes.
No wonder I kept saying I don't remember. So now I'm like going back to meet that child that lived for. I'm like beginning to remember and no wonder, I stutter. It like could have been because of the fear and
trauma,
absolute terror and trauma
yes.
of
yes.
that,
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I think once you confront all of that, then maybe you'll be free completely to be this evolved version of yourself that has been going through all this, but carrying this extra weight that, it's like you're dragging this big stone around with you and you have no clue what it's for.
Precisely. And this is the unraveling of what I say is you think you know who you are, but when you begin to unravel, then you begin to remember things. And I'm not saying that, that even if you did not have a life of trauma, right? When you begin to unravel yourself, you're going to get to that part where you have an identity crisis in a sense, like, who am I? Like, I thought I knew who I am. How can I not know who I am? Like, how can I not remember such a memory? Like, to me, it was how can my memory not work for that? Right. So,
you suppressed it.
I suppressed it very deep.
So how much comes back with you from past lives, from the reincarnation thing?
Yeah. So look, I had one past life. So the way that I connected to the Praying-Mantis Beings through the first past life regression that I've ever had, that's when they came in. Through that past life regression, I had two memories, of being buried alive. I was a black slave boy, I think 10 years old, and I was buried like alive. I could remember the complete terror of being in this box and the dirt falling through the box and be screaming get me out of here, or whatever, whichever language I was speaking in, like probably African. But in that moment, the moment I die, I see myself above it hovering, hysterically laughing at myself.
Wow.
Hysterically laughing because I just witnessed my own self being afraid of death. In that moment, I realized there is no death because now I'm hovering over myself,
Oh,
watching
here
myself.
I am. Yes.
So that's one past
Yes.
life regression. I have another one where like I was beaten. So I lived a lot of slavery lives, like it looks like,
Mhm.
where like my back was beaten. They beat me so hard that my back fractured into pieces,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it came through through like this like back lifetime. Um, and there was another like memory that came through where I was like 4 months old in Africa. My mom was foraging for food, and like she had me in the sack, like like the sacks where they hold
Yes.
it on your
Mm.
on your breast.
Mhm.
And she had a heart attack, like you in the desert, 100 degrees or more, and she dies. And I'm laying there for 4 days.
Mhm.
All I could see is this hand as I'm like as a baby, like like being like filled with water and a healthy hand.
Mhm.
And over like the 4 days, it's crazy how when you're in past life regression, you witness like a timeline so fast,
Yes.
shriveling, 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 and becoming dry, like the hand, like the skin, because all the water like evaporate, and I'm dying.
Mhm.
And the moment I am dying, I see this beautiful. It's so funny, all the hands, and I'm getting chills. I
Yeah.
see a beautiful hand, and I could still see it. It was a man's hand. It was a beautiful hairy hand. There was a beauty about the nails and it was just like beauty of God, of energy. I can't describe it. That like grabs me, and the next thing I flash to 17 years later, thinking in my mind I lived with that person, like
Mhm.
that grabbed me,
Mhm.
convinced that I lived with him, realizing within like a moment that I lived with another family that actually saved me, and the hand that actually came, and I'm getting chills, was a
Mhm.
future version of me.
Wow. It's
Like,
almost like
like look at this,
timelines crossing.
very like look at the
Yeah,
chart.
look at that. Yeah, yeah.
Like it was
Yes.
so intense. So like that was my first experience of what past lives mean and how
Mm.
they look like and appear.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
ever since then, and of course, like the more you awaken, you trust the subtle
Mhm.
like messages and flashes. You can just know, you begin to experience this knowingness of a past
Mhm.
life. You know what you know. Like it's
Mhm.
instantaneous, it's within you. Um
Mhm.
and I get visions like you. I get visions. I get just knowingness. Like there
Mhm.
are visions like with eyes and just clear
Mhm.
messages.
Mhm.
And through also my channeling sessions with clients, although they think I'm channeling for them, I'm channeling
Mhm.
from me through them. I get a lot of beautiful.
Mhm. I think it's lovely.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
First time I got a download,
Yeah.
some I was posed a question. It goes, "Is your screen clear? Is your screen clear?" I'm going. First, I'm like, "What?" Then I came to realize my screen, right? So I could visualize. So now I instinctively will say, "Okay, my screen's clear," without even thinking about, "Okay, my screen's clear," because I know something's coming.
Yes.
And I can tap in and I guess see they show me all kinds of things. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And like this is for your audience. When you begin to have the intention to stretch your world, stretch your imagination, regardless
Mm.
of all the details that we spoke of, right?
Yes, yes.
Just that intention you begin to manifest
Mhm,
what's already always been there.
mhm.
You're not creating anything. You're not ascending in the sense where, oh, I'm extra special. No,
No.
you're just stretching your world, and you
Yeah,
realize,
yeah.
wow, that's always been here. I just couldn't see it because my lens was
Yes,
3 inches in diameter. Now it's 10 inches in
yes,
diameter.
yes.
Um,
And if you really want to do it, I tested myself.
yeah,
I had a guest on the show one night, and we
yeah,
were talking about, sea monsters, like the Loch Ness Monster, and
yeah.
and I asked, I says, "Has anybody ever just tried to tap in?" And 'cause I don't think so. So I went when I went to bed that night, I just, just I had to unwind after the show. And I just closed my eyes and I just said, and I tapped into the area. I said, "I want to see you." And all of a sudden I felt this complete sense of calm. I'm underwater and this beautiful being comes up and rubs against me just with a little bit of just barely, and then swings back around and all I have this big eye, and I'm just like, it felt dimensional, obviously, right? But the connection was incredible. And do you know, for three nights I got to visit before the visit stopped.
Amazing, amazing. And as you're saying, I saw a like water with I mean I saw a portal like within the water.
Ah, see?
Wherever they are, that's how they come
Yes, I
into our
believe
world
that
and
too.
leave. So because
Yeah.
water is a conduit.
Yes.
Most amazing conduit ever.
Yes. Yes.
And speaking of that, we're made out of water, yes? So
Yes.
we're conduits.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
and we have iron like inside of us, right? Also, iron is right, like is a conduit. If look, I'm not a scientist and I don't know all the physics and
Yes.
blah blah blah.
Yes.
But but here's the subtle thing that's always been within us. We never realized.
Yes.
I am all water.
And
I have iron
energy.
and energy and everything else and potassium and
Yeah.
or whatever is in our body. I don't know. It's but
Yes.
all the minerals of creation, like we are a
Yes. Yes.
the
It's a
ingredient of creation.
it's a perfect storm of manifestation like it gives you a whole other meaning to the word existing, your
Totally,
existence here.
totally, 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 totally.
You know, I love it because you can tap into incredible beings. After I did that, I said, I'm going to go really big because I have a connection to dragons. So
Yeah,
well, I said, where's my dragon? Just out of the blue, like, why would I just say that? I said, where's my dragon? And all of a sudden, this just big swoop, and many dragons. I got to visit for 2 nights with different dragons. And I thought, okay, whatever just happened, do it again.
totally,
They're just magnificent. I
totally.
love it.
And imagination, let's talk about imagination like for 1 second.
Yes.
Imagination is the conduit to connect with other beings. See,
Yes.
we've been taught that imagination, like, oh, like when kids imagine whatever, what are they called? They say that it's the imaginary whatever,
Imaginary friends. Yes.
imaginary friends.
Friends. Yes. Yes.
We've been so taught imagination, when you imagine
Yes.
something, you're making something up that doesn't exist.
Yes.
Listen to what we are saying. And these are the subtle messages we don't realize because we're so intellectual. We think we're intellectual. We don't realize what we're saying.
Yes.
If
Yes.
something doesn't exist, how can you make it up?
Yes.
It's not even there for you to connect or think like non-existence is not there. Like,
Mhm.
but the
Yes.
fact we imagine things,
Mhm.
what the Mantis said, that is contact. You are connecting
Yes.
with another like intelligence or a being, and that being is feeding you back information for you to be able to see itself
Yes.
from your lens, and vice versa. You are also giving it back your information about who you are. So all these movie producers and artists and like people that
Mm.
sing and whatever, when they but like let's speak to a movie because it is very visual and is very visceral. So like the movie with like the blue beings, like what is it called?
Avatar.
Avatar.
Mhm.
That, for example, is quite it's quite um like
I saw
color.
8 times. It definitely drove the point home.
But like listen for a
Yeah.
moment. How can a human being
Yes.
or when a human being or a group of human beings, when they begin connecting with whatever imagination where there's nothing, I'm
Mhm.
making something up. How could such images and details of things come back?
Mhm.
It is connection with that realm, with that being. So when you imagine,
Mhm.
know that you are making connections.
It's
And
something.
even when you make up, so I teach a channeling class
Mhm.
where like we help people channel and really channel their own being, their own voice, and their own authenticity and surrender into who you are, not to be like me or Bashar needs as a being, to be like you, because your voice will only be like you. You are the only channel that you can ever be.
Mhm.
Nobody else can emulate you because you're a
Mhm.
special facet of
You're one of a kind.
we are of a kind. Nobody will ever, and this is how
Yes.
you know yourself. But we're not. You're saying you
Yes.
have to be look like her or him to have like
No, not at all.
to have value. Exactly.
Yes.
But like we teach like imagination that make something up. But we're so taught if I'm making something up, it's not real. It's a fallacy. It's the
Well,
opposite.
I think that's the problem is people don't know. Are they in that stage, or am I making this up? Is this my imagination, or am I really seeing and communicating with something?
And that's my point. We've been trained that it's not. That when you imagine it's not real, when it actually is real. But each and every
Yes.
one of us imagines, which means each and every one of us has connection. Each and every one of us does connect. We are already
Yes.
channels. We are conduits of information.
Well, I
So
read
when
something
you
recently that said dreams are software updates. I thought that's
I've
clever.
I've been
That's
dreaming a lot, and I've been sleeping like deep, uh, like just last night. I slept and I woke up 3 or 4 times. I literally each time I woke up, it's only been 2 hours. I thought I slept 20 hours. Like each, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like ready to get up. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's only 1 a.m. Like go back to bed, and I
yeah,
go back in it, and I wake up. I'm like, it's only 3 a.m. But I feel like I slept for 2 days. Like I'm
yeah,
moving deep in a lot of dreams, like
hmm
a lot of dreams, which is
yeah.
so beautiful.
No,
Um,
I love that.
yeah.
So when did the mantis come into your life?
My
Do you
first
think you were a hybrid in a past life or in this life? Do you think you had a life with them before? Like, do you
So I had a reading with Debbie Solaris. I don't, like, do you know Debbie Solaris?
I
She's
know.
been on Gaia. She's quite famous.
Yeah.
She has a 2 year wait to even have a reading with her.
Mhm.
She's a galactic historian,
Mhm.
and I had a reading with her after I had my past life regression.
Yes.
It took me for like 5 months then to have a reading with her, and she verbatim said, "You emanated from the Antares Stargate.
Mhm.
Uh, Mantis beings like come from there." I knew
Mhm.
nothing about Antares. I know nothing about horoscope. I'm not a very horoscopy guy. I'm not even like a constellation guy. I have no idea where these planets are. I know a few words and that's it.
Yes.
Um, so with her, it was like Chinese, basically. I had no idea what it was.
Mhm.
But she confirmed. But then mantis beings began appearing and spaceships began appearing like over my house. And like the mantis insects began appearing. So I'm a realtor. I don't know
Yes.
if you knew that. So I sell real
Yes.
estate. A
Yes.
mantis being, I'm sorry, a mantis insect. I mean, if I say the word being, people may think the energy one. Insect was on a lockbox. So as realtors, like we have lockboxes where we have this card, you put it in there, you
Yeah.
grab the key to
Yeah.
enter the house.
Yeah.
On the lockbox. And look, I'm showing houses, and praying mantises are on the screen. The praying mantis was on a friend's um tire or on a client's like
Yeah.
I was on
They're
a 12,
everywhere.
but I've never seen them before.
Yeah.
I was showing a condo on the 12th floor. There's
Yes.
just a window and a screen in the sky. There's not a plant on,
Yes.
and the praying mantis insect was on the screen of the 12th floor. Precisely the moment where we enter the right, because you have to schedule like appointments to enter the place to show
Yes.
the client.
That's right.
Was
Yeah.
there. You cannot make it up. And this is where the synchronicity began appearing to me, showing me that we're connecting with you. We're showing you we're here, like praying mantis, praying mantis, praying mantis, praying mantis.
Mm.
And then I surrendered and I put a decal on my car that I talked to praying mantis being.
I remember you said that. It was great.
So I mean, it's like I'm either hallucinating and crazy, put them in a mental hospital, while selling real estate. I drive people in my car, and and just today, like I showed a few houses, and we talked about spirituality. Like the guy said, like like, do you mind telling me about the thing on the back? And I explained to everything, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had the most amazing conversation with people, amazing
Yes.
about spirituality and openness, and also following your heart and following your passion, and don't suppress your
Mhm.
desires. We've been conditioned to suppress all the voices within us.
Mhm. It comes down to awareness. That's what
Yes.
the whole theme
Yeah.
of tonight's show, I think, has just been about
Yeah.
awareness and how,
Yeah.
I mean, it'll open up a whole other world.
Yeah.
Just be aware.
Totally. 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 Begin to see the subtle images and messages that are always around you. Always, and that's the gift of life that we have, is we always have communication. We're not
Mm,
alone. We're always
mhm,
being assisted by others. They're
mm,
always trying to get our attention, but we are not paying attention because we've been conditioned. Our
mhm,
lens is this big.
mhm,
Begin stretching your lens. Even if
mhm,
you don't comprehend the totality of what's being said, forget about it. Have
mhm,
the intention to stretch, have the intention to see beyond, have the intention to find self, have the intention to see God within you, however you see God.
mhm,
Like have that intention alone is creation.
mhm.
It's like birthing center of
Yes,
something new.
yes,
And then the
yes,
rest of the details will come and the whole puzzle like will come together. But
yes,
if you
yes.
continue to define your world with disempowerment and with fear and with
Mhm,
limitation and with separation and with polarity and contrast and judgment, well, I think we
mhm.
talked about judgment last time,
Yes, yes, yes,
then that's also okay because it's also creation, but you're creating
yes,
that reality. So which
yeah,
reality do you prefer to choose?
mhm,
You
yes,
know?
Yes.
Through the eyes of creation, it never judges. It just sees you as the beautiful creator creating everything you desire, consciously or unconsciously.
So what's the key to manifestation?
Totally. You
Right.
are the key to manifestation.
Yeah.
I am.
Hmm.
Once I begin to realize I have always been the manifester, you
Hmm.
know, and like
Yeah.
subtle images sometimes. I mean, look, I can look back. I grew up poor. Like, my family like didn't come from
Yeah.
money, and we
Mm.
always drove like beat up cars, and the
Yeah.
car would freaking break down, and I would cuss the world. It's broke down, and why do and we don't have the money to
Mm.
repair it, and you figure it and you put it on a credit card thing or whatever,
Mhm.
and now like going back out without like realizing we were creating this cycle of like, oh, the car broke down, oh my god, what's wrong with me, why is this happening again, what am
Mhm.
I doing wrong in the world? That energy and intention created more, and
Well,
you
you
get,
get back what you put out.
yes, but I
The
didn't
law,
realize,
that's the law of one, right?
yes, but I didn't realize I was doing that.
Yeah.
You would just complain and react, and
Yeah.
but now I see it clearer that I was, but that was creation of that. I was like, listen to what I'm saying, I am creating it.
Yes.
I'm
You
a creator.
manifested all of it. Yes.
Like, forget if it's
Yeah.
negative or positive or neutral. I'm a creator. So you have to
You
begin.
did it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and listen, I still
Yeah.
manifest stuff that I don't desire. I still create stuff I don't desire. I'm still learning. I'm not
Mhm.
professing this
Yes.
this perfect being that's, oh, I have bad days, I am like,
Yes.
okay, okay, universe, I say, okay, universe, what message am I not seeing here? I'm very
Yes.
upset with you right now,
Yes.
I'm in timeout with you. I have this discussion with them and I joke a little bit, but also knowing that the message will come to me,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
it's okay sometimes to surrender into an act of
Mhm.
disempowerment. That's also part of
Yes.
it. It allows me to learn how it feels, what facet of disempowerment, right? So when you
Mhm.
begin to value even your life,
Mhm.
even through the act of forgetfulness that I'm divine, through the act of forgetfulness that I'm disempowered, there
Mhm.
is value through
Mhm.
that intention. You
Yeah.
begin to uncover gifts within that. But now you instantaneously switch from that moment that in the past you could have been stuck in this loop of negativity for a long time. Now
Mhm.
you switch out of it fast.
Because
Does
it's
it
like a loop otherwise.
Totally, it's an acceleration.
Yes.
Like you experience negativity, you see the value in it,
Mhm.
you like give it gratitude, and you move on to something else.
Mhm.
When before you're in the loop over and over
Yes.
and over and over and over again, and you're exhausted, and it's, you know what I mean.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's not that you never have those bad. There's no bad in my mind, but you never have
Yes.
those moments. You always do, but you accelerate out of it quickly.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
now you begin to value, like you're seeing it of value. You're not seeing it of non-value because we're taught.
Mhm.
Car
That's
breaks
right.
down, there is a value of it because it's
Mhm.
creation.
Mhm.
You know,
So when you reached that point, do you find that's when you were more in contact with the mantis, when you were able to elevate to this point to calm your mind and see things for what it was and accept it for what it was and welcome it and see the benefit of all of it?
Y- yes and no, yes and no,
Okay.
because I know they're always within me, and and they're always assisting me. It's just the forgetfulness of my connection as a divine that
Yes.
allows me to experience it. But in the quick second of awakening, they bring me back to that experience of forgetfulness to
Yes.
value it and appreciate it, not to
Oh,
run away from it, deny and say, I don't want to ever have that experience again.
I dislike forgetting.
Yes. Well, okay. Okay. You dislike forgetting. Okay. So,
I don't like it.
but, but see,
Mm. Especially meaningful messages, and you go and forget it, and you just feel like, come on.
yeah, yeah. It's I'm just trying. I'm just trying to connect. I dislike forgetting.
Yes.
But see, okay, even through saying that, you're not valuing the act of forgetfulness. And that's the key. That's the little shift.
So I have to forget and value that I'm forgetting.
That's what it's exactly what I just said.
I
And
just
probably, but now you're getting it
uh,
because
mm,
the act of forgetfulness, there is value that you won't be able to see unless you begin to see that experience of forgetting is of value.
because it will make me appreciate remembering.
Yes, but also you see a different facet. Like
Yes,
the
yes,
mentor has said, gifts are only revealed to you that you're
yes,
unable to see when you are able to comprehend that there is value in what I just experienced. They may
yes,
seem to be bad,
yes.
but if you don't, you'll get a message that is different of that from the
Mhm,
what you fuel it with. If you fuel it with gratitude,
mhm,
you get a gift back that is clear. If you
mhm.
fuel it with dislike, you
Yeah,
get a gift back that
yeah.
is a vibration of dislike, perhaps
Mhm,
an unclear message.
mhm.
So ascension is all of it. And
Yeah,
that's really the next level of what ascension really means.
like evolution of
Yeah,
sorts.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
really like realizing, because look, you are the creator. You create and recreate, create and recreate, create and
Yes.
recreate, create. And it could be good, negative, neutral, bad, good, negative, neutral, bad, good, 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 negative, neutral, bad, good. Like
Yes.
we're in constant flow of creation,
Yes.
but through awareness and intention of where you are, and
Yes.
the energy of gratitude and unconditional love, that everything has a purpose. Everything is teaching me to expand into the infinite.
Mm.
Because
Mhm.
infinity also is that experience of the forgetfulness.
Yes.
And there's many shades of
Yeah.
forgetfulness. There's
Yeah.
many shades of that one experience.
Yes. Yes.
And that's how you get to experience yourself more and more and more and more and more and more and more, and realize I'm an infinite being through all of the shades and the layers and the facets of everything. But if you say I only want to experience this shade of the infinity, then okay, that's one limited aspect of infinity that you always experience, and you're
Mhm.
not experiencing the rest. So you're not feeling yourself as bigger and larger and more infinite, and you're not
Mhm.
expanding your lens into all.
Mhm. Yes.
You know?
I do. I do. It takes practice.
It does. It's reconstruction of your
Yes.
mind,
Yes.
reconstruction of what we've been trained
Mhm.
so well.
Yes.
And this is the other thing, is we are such masters. We are magicians. We are creators, that we even create the
Mhm.
illusion of this empowerment and forget.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
listen, even the act of forgetfulness is of creation from us. That's how powerful we are. We're
Yes.
powerful enough to allow it to wipe our memory for a second, but
Yes.
then remember for the next second. Both in our creation, made by us.
Yeah, and you only get bits and pieces though. It takes a while. Like it comes back slowly, I find, at least for me. I mean, unless it's powerful.
Yeah,
If I am meant to have the message, I remember everything.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
then I
then
go
there's
and I write
relevance.
it down.
Exactly. And there's relevancy. There's like
Yes.
relevant information that you need now that will
Yes.
continue. Like the rest is irrelevant. Why do you need to remember it?
Well, do you find, like for myself, I'll be if there's something I want to know, if I've been looking for something, sometimes I'll just be researching,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm taken to an entirely different direction. Everything I wanted to know, I find everything, and I'm just like, wow, that was subtle, but in my face at the same time.
Yeah, like slap, 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 slap. Wake up.
Yeah,
Totally.
yes,
Totally.
yes,
Totally.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, would you do a channel for us tonight?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Just give me 1 second.
Oh,
Yes.
I
Yes, yes.
abs I think that would
Um,
be outstanding.
um, okay. Yes. So how long do we have for this channeling? Just so I know.
Well, however long as you need. I'm the
Okay.
last show of the night,
Oh, I love it.
and
Amazing.
I'm the
Okay.
boss.
We have two bosses here on the channel. Like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, no, we're good, we're good. Yeah,
Okay.
we're fine, yeah.
And you're gonna ask questions. Like you're welcome. They love questions if you want to
Yeah,
ask.
anybody in the chat room, feel free. There's quite a few people, and
Oh,
I guess we're just looking, for messages. Has been since you've been on last time. There's just been so much going on in the world. There's so many people who are struggling. There's so many people who are dealing with change,
yeah.
even political change.
Yeah.
People are dealing just with change in their lives, spiritual awakenings,
Yeah.
having extraterrestrial contact, and maybe not they don't know how they feel about that,
Yeah.
you know, because that means we had somebody in the chat earlier say like there's a lot of negative press about Mantis. And then we've had other people in the chat going they've had really great experiences with Mantis, and Mantis has also been, their guides, etc. So wherever it is they take you, my friend, we'll
Okay.
keep up.
All right. So um, I'll bring them through. I don't
Yeah,
know what they're gonna say in terms of message.
of course.
They may ask you to begin asking questions. So if there's questions in the chat, go ahead. If you have questions, it's fine.
Okay,
Um,
guys, get ready.
yes.
Yeah.
So think about questions. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
have to just trust your thing.
All right.
Okay. When they come through, they're gonna do a little toning with words,
Yes.
like to calibrate frequencies, and then they'll begin speaking, and then they'll say you're welcome to ask a question. It'll be very clear. Then you can begin asking. Okay.
Yes.
And for the audience out there, if you're not driving, uh, please close your eyes just so you can connect and go into your hearts, and you can open your eyes at any time. But just for the first few minutes, um, just open your heart to receive. And from the Antares Stargate, we come through in this way. To co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness. To merge our hearts with your hearts. To be one with you in this way. To be one with the energy of the divine that you are. And as we connect with you in this way, we have already shown the channel the image of many eyes. As many eyes are watching you, our dearest ones. Many beings from across galaxies, realities, parallel universes, the fabric of the universe itself, many consciousnesses and intelligences that your mind cannot even begin to comprehend, is witnessing your journey. You are not alone on this journey, and you have assistance and help and guidance from the many. Many that are eager to connect with you in this way. Many that are eager for you to bring on the invitation, as it is within your power and frequency to begin that dialogue with us and the many. And as your humanity rises in the level of consciousness, as it is, our dearest one, despite what is happening within your world, around your world, your humanity is consciously awakening. And through the act of such consciousness, through the shift in frequency of the collective itself and Mother Gaia and the many beings on the planet, you also are bringing up to the surface things, in a sense, vibrations and frequencies that do not serve this new collective. Do not be dissuaded, do not be blinded by what seems to be negative around you, your political climate and otherwise. All of it is designed to show you, to reflect back to you what isn't serving as a collective. And the key is the way in which you interpret what is happening. In a sense, the sucking in action, if you get sucked into such limitation and separation, then you begin creating such a reality. Be aware, beware on where your energy lies. Beware also to witness and honor others. As many of you judge others, our dearest ones. It is a different vibration and frequency to be able to witness ascended masters playing out their roles on the stage of creation and honoring them fully for their role, as there is no separation to begin with. There is no distance between each and every one of you. Each and every one of you is connected with energy, tethered together constantly. So it is important also, as you witness an act that you do not prefer, for example, to honor that being and allow them to be in their bubble of their own reality for their own ascension, as you have the power within yourself to keep yourself within the own bubble and reality of the vibration that you choose. Each and every one of you lives in its own bubble of creation, and all of these bubbles in a sense co-create with each other as humanity as a whole, as a collection of souls on this planet. Remember, you are the creator of your own reality. Choose wisely, in a sense. Choose what you prefer and allow others, other ascended masters, to be on their path, as each path that creation can ever exist is of value to the collective of consciousness of all. And with that, we will begin our dialogue with you in this way. And we thank you for allowing us to come through in this way as we witness you fully in your glory, each and every one of you. And know that beyond the words that are being exchanged through the channel, that there are energies that are being activated within us. There are awarenesses and moments of awakening that is already happening within us. You are welcome to pose a question when you are ready.
Okay, we'll start off with Wayne has a question. He says, "Why did I have a step in of sort of an experience when I was 4? Who am I truly?" And it was somebody just like that stepped in.
Is the being able to elaborate further on what that means?
Okay, when his 4-year-old birthday party, all of a sudden had a realization and looked at his parents and said, "Oh my God, I'm a child," spoke like an adult, got physically sick, and that was the end of it, and basically did not feel like he belonged in that body.
Repeat that information one more time for us if you don't mind.
Okay, when he was 4 years old and he had a birthday party at his home, all of a sudden he stopped, he looked up and said, "Oh my God, I'm a child," like something had stepped into him, and he got physically sick, and he was never quite the same again. Did not feel like he belonged from that point on. So was that a step in or a step in experience of sorts?
Ah, it is interesting that this idea of step in occurred during a birth day, our
Mhm,
dearest one.
mhm,
It was a day where you birthed yourself anew,
mhm,
where you allowed yourself a new version of you to
mhm,
be. And regardless of what the contrast was between the child and the man, the two versions, should you have gone into that experience with the understanding or with the, we will say, definition system that I should have stayed a child or I should have stayed a man? Why did I switch? Why is this happening? Why is there a change? Within that aspect of, in a sense, wonder of what is occurring, maybe there was judgment within it.
mhm,
As the path unfolded precisely as you have designed it, our dearest one. And when you begin to, in a sense, appreciate and begin to see the value and uncover what is the value in such an experience, to have chosen to have that idea of step in,
mhm,
you will begin to gift yourself what you haven't seen yet within that journey. As you are a multidimensional being and have the power to choose the duration in which each, in a sense, identity lives or is aware of its own self. But what a beautiful gift you have given yourself to be able to have experienced the contrast idea, a child and a man, for example, and to have had that at such a young age.
mhm. Yes.
You gave yourself the opportunity to be being the multidimensional aspect of who you are.
Mhm.
Was that helpful?
Yeah, well, it makes sense to me. Wayne, you can chime in. Next question. Heidi says, I'd love to know the meaning of the eye symbols and double vision I've experienced. Now the humming around me I thought was Toni, but it's layered with Toni. So if you'd like me to repeat.
Clarify further the idea of the channel and the layering.
Okay, so she says, I'd love to know the meaning of the eye symbols, the double vision I've experienced, and now the humming that she hears around her, she
Yes.
thought was you, but it's actually layered with you.
Yes. Thank you for that beautiful question of clarity, our dearest one. The being that posed that question has already stretched her imagination, has already stretched her awareness of what sight truly means. You see, as you expand your idea of whom you are and of what is beyond what it actually is, you begin to allow yourself the opportunity to comprehend that sight comes in many layers.
Mm,
The idea of double vision, in a sense, being able to see multifaceted version to the idea of sight. But sight isn't always about vision.
mm,
You can always see to the idea of sound, the same way that your bats, for example, are able to see with the sound vibration that they give out. Yes.
yes.
So through little examples and idea on your planet already of what one word perhaps means, you are beginning to uncover that even the idea of sound and vision and senses is unlimited in nature. And the layering effect that you mentioned, whether it is the sound of the channel himself in combination with the sounds that she heard, in a sense, within her field, is an echo within timelines of creation,
Mm,
allowing you to be able, what we call, to be hyper aware of your own expansion, to have several awarenesses of several realities and experiences all at once. What a beautiful another example of being multidimensional. The being that posed the question earlier with the child and the
mm,
stepping in is one facet of what multidimensional aspect of being is.
mhm,
And the being or the person that posed the question about sound and sight is also experiencing the multidimensionality of such limited words and concepts. And
mhm.
as humanity awakens more and more, each and every one of you, from their own lens, from their own perspective, will begin to unravel and comprehend the more through that layering effect. Is that clear?
Yes, Heidi, is that clear for you? She says, I have goosebumps. Thank you. It resonates deeply within.
Yes.
All right. Next question. One of our chat participants said he was prompted to ask if you have a message for another one of our chat family. So he says, do you have a message for K-Sun? I am prompted to ask if you have a message for K-Sun.
Spell out that name for us.
K-A-S-U-N.
And is that being with us in this now moment?
Yes, he is. He's here in the chat.
Close your eyes, fall into your heart. Rock, 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 crystalline structures. This being connects with the idea of crystalline, sacred geometrical structures of being. You will begin to experience a draw and a desire to Understand crystals on a deeper level. For example, you may be drawn to perhaps go to a crystal store, grab a piece of crystal, and having the ability to go within that crystal itself to be able to see the sacred geometrical structures within it. Because in a simultaneous life, our dearest one, you are a crystalline being that connects with the idea of light through the inner reflections of how the light connect, in a sense, with the multifaceted version of such crystalline density. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Kazan, chime in.
We will continue as that being chimes in. And as you begin to connect deeper and deeper with the idea of such crystalline being, the fact that you are, it will give you a new perspective of the angular structures of light and the co-creation and the relationship between light and faceted, dense aspect of crystals, allowing you to see the light within yourself, how it co-creates within your being, how it begins to become, in a sense, visually, the Merkaba, the engine of your own creation.
Yes, he really doesn't know for sure with as far as how that's resonating. But he's brilliant and well researched. So you'll have to dig deep on that one, maybe, Kazan. Yes. Next question. Mish says, was a praying mantis really watching and guiding me when I was creating Organite? She works with Organite and does creations with Organite.
It is not a coincidence that many of the Organite creations resemble, oftentimes, the praying mantis, we will say, blueprint or structure on your planet.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that that being posed such a question already knows the answer. And we are smiling as she fully, gutturally knows that.
Mm-hmm.
The simple answer is yes, our dearest one. They have been guiding you on creating such beautiful structures of creation. And continue to connect with them further.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Kazan basically says that he does not connect with crystals. Maybe perhaps he must tap into a past version of himself.
Yes, what we have said is he will begin to gravitate towards such an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So keep your mind open. As we share this dialogue with you, know that this dialogue, this energy that we are sharing with you is going beyond the field of memory and of this existence.
Mm-hmm.
You will begin to develop a relationship with such crystalline aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Let go of any expectations of when that will happen, but it will definitely happen, our dearest one.
Beautiful.
And yes, should you feel called to connect with a parallel reality of yours that is living on that version, do so.
Excellent. There you have it, Kazan. Kathy says, I've been told I'm a Palladian star seed. How do I connect with them?
You see, when you pose such a question, how do I connect with them, already tells you that you believe you don't have a connection with them.
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful in which you are creating such a reality and co-creation with that new information.
Mm-hmm.
And should you truly believe within your bones, in a sense, and become the connection that you already are with them, those synchronicities,
Yes.
those whispers will begin to become clearer for you.
Right, there you go. Well, let's finish off with myself. How about, what do you see for my path?
Which path, our dearest one?
I guess my light path, I do a lot of light work, I do shadow work, I help people, I work with the collective consciousness, I work with extraterrestrials. So my path, where does it go? It's in so many directions. What should I focus on?
Why the desire, in a sense, to focus on one thing when you already have the ability to be the multidimensional being, to build bridges between species?
Hmm.
You are already a connector of the many beings, and you contain within your structure the ability to work, in a sense, like an octopus, we will say, with the many arms,
Hmm.
simultaneously, all at once. Why limit yourself to simply a path of sort?
Hmm.
You are built that way, our dearest one, to be the connector and the bridger of worlds.
Hmm. Yes, I resonate with that, and I believe that. In fact, I have had Mantis with me as
Yes.
well.
And
Yeah,
as we were posing that question, we have shown the image of a rainbow to the channel, a rainbow on the horizon.
I've seen I've seen a very unusual rainbow. So I
Yes.
see the rainbow.
Multi faceted color frequencies beyond the idea of what you experience color on this planet.
Yes. Yes. It's incredible.
Yes.
I've seen it many times.
Yes.
Well, I thank you. It resonates with me. And I think that's all we have for questions for tonight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. With our unconditional love. Bright, 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 bright white light of creation. An unconditional loving heart. We thank you for this beautiful co creation of oneness and for allowing us to see you clearly in your essence, as this interaction has afforded, given creation itself expansion through your lens. We are forever grateful for this interaction, and we will bring the channel back momentarily as we head back to the Antares Stargate where we choose to reside.
Thank you.
Thank you, love.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I for the being I want to say that asked about. I mean, I don't remember the question now, but I just I'm seeing crystal being.
For Kazan, yes.
Sure, he's
Yeah.
gonna be surprised.
Yes.
He's totally gonna be surprised. It's something I want to say from left field. However, that's said, uh,
Mm,
not even expected, but
yes.
it's gonna be a beautiful remembrance.
Hmm.
And I'm looking straight to the lens because I want to see my eyes. It's gonna be um, a beautiful remembrance and remergence. If I make up words like you merge, but you remerge,
Yes.
of self. It's a complicated, I feel right now, idea to describe in words,
Mm-hmm.
but I experienced. It's not a being in the sense like a human, right? In the
Yes.
head
Yes.
and arms. It's a
Yes.
intelligent crystal essence that is all fibrous, made out of crystal.
Mm.
I mean, we see
Like
crystal
ethereal of sorts.
ethereal, but
Yes.
the connection is light vibration, like the how
Mm-hmm.
light interacts with its own essence.
Mm-hmm.
The reflections within its own
Mm-hmm.
consciousness
Mm-hmm.
gives it awareness. Like it's a very abstract concept, but it will unfold in its own
It
way.
makes sense when you consider that we are made of water and crystals ourselves and energy. The planet is made up, has a great crystal. I think that you're essentially, it feels to me like he's going to be connecting with his higher self, but also everything else that is crystal based.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah. Oh, for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Both.
mean, he type it.
Yeah, I know. But that was mind blowing.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
As
you.
always, it
Thank you.
was such a pleasure for you to be on. Uh, you know me, I could just sit here and all night we could just go, or we just, do it again somewhere along the way if you wanted to.
I'm telling you, standing is, every other month is standing for the next 25 years.
Okay, we can do that.
Oh,
Or I
no.
could just give you your own show, one of the two.
Listen, I'm actually working on a podcast at home. The room next door, I'm going to create.
Mm,
It's our
you're,
storage room. I want to create a podcast.
you're
And
talking to the right person.
okay, well, so we had got. I mean, yeah, I just called my designer. I said, "Hey, can you give me a quick design without spending too much money on, I just want to make it happen quick. Like I don't want to wait.
No.
And just I want to talk every day about my life and everything I've learned. Just everyday talk like we are here, um, just to share. You
Well,
know.
then you and I will have a different email conversation, or we could have a Zoom conversation, and let me see what I can do for you now.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love it.
I love you, honey.
All right.
I'm so appreciative of you. It's an absolute honor to be here. Absolute honor to be here with your audience, whoever's
Thank
listening.
you.
Um, we're all beautiful beings, and we're learning that. We're remembering that.
We
Don't
are.
let anybody tell you otherwise. It's just
Hmm.
we all forget, and we're remembering.
And we're on a journey, so we have to forge ahead and
Yes,
just
and
keep.
your story is your story. Like, begin to see value in precisely how you lived your life. Like, I judged my life so many times for
Yes.
years and years and years,
Yes.
and I wished and I was different, and I wished I came from a richer family or whatever. Like
Yes.
we all have those wishes.
But it's what made you who you are today.
Yes, and
Your
now
experiences.
yes, and but when I again go with the intention of wanting to value it now.
Yes.
Even I'm not there at the stage of valuing every piece of it.
Yes.
Again, that intention will unfold that path to be for us to begin to see the value.
Yes.
Your story is your story. Nobody on, regardless of how dramatic, traumatic, happy, unhappy it was,
Hmm.
painful, unpainful. No one else, as part of the infinite, will ever live it except you. And until you receive it fully as
Hmm.
creation and as a value for the collective, for
Hmm.
source itself,
Hmm.
in a sense, we're never going to be able to experience the other paths that we have that are waiting for us of
Hmm.
value because we keep pushing away this side. But
Yes.
and I just want to say one more thing that when if you notice in your life like something that's occurring over and over again, you're in the same loop.
Hmm.
It's looping. It's like
Yes.
knock
Yes.
on knock knock knock. Hey, I'm here. I'm part of you. I'm part of creation. Nope, you're not. I'm gonna shut the door. Comes again.
Yes.
Knock knock knock. I'm here. I'm part of you. Please see me. I'm part of creation. Nope, you're not. You shut the door.
Yes.
No, that knock will keep happening until you stand right in front of it. Say, look, I may not prefer you, but I
Yes.
understand that you're part of creation. You are part of me, and you have a seat on the table of creation.
Yes.
That's unconditional. That's when that knocking will stop.
Yes.
Because what the infinite is trying to tell you is, look, I'm part of you. I
Hmm.
am part of the infinite. Stop shutting me away.
Yes. Yes.
And that knock will stop happening, and that version, facet, that part of you will stop
Mhm.
happening when you receive it in as part of you. And it's, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So
And I encourage everybody. I've put up Tony's website again in chat. It's been periodically on the screen. It is in show description because you can actually have personal readings with
yes,
Tony on all of this and more.
yes. And personal readings go deep. They go for an hour,
Yes.
like a bit different than like what we did here. I also teach channeling class, but not just channel like me to open up the
Yes.
channel for you to become like the divine being.
Yes.
Um, events all over the world in the US. What else? Podcast soon. Speaking to Michelle privately. Um, I'm going to be in a movie in 2026 on Amazon.
Yes.
Documentary slash movie. What else? Oh, Praying Mantis Crystal Skulls. Email me if you're interested.
Yes.
They're not super expensive. Like the small ones are $100, so they're not
Yeah.
crazy. Because
Go
I
check
wanted
out
to.
the website. Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah, and I need to add them. I have a few of the big ones on on the website, but
Yeah.
I've sold like the majority of them. So I just
Yes.
need to take new photos and upload them. But if
Yes.
you email me, I can show you like what I have, and we can like work it out privately.
Yes.
What else? And all kinds of goodness and
I love it. I
yeah,
love it. And thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to email you and we're going to have a whole other conversation
Totally.
because I know exactly where to put you.
Oh my God, amazing. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have to work on the room. Okay.
Okay. I
Amazing.
love
All
it.
right.
I
Okay.
love it. So, to everyone who tuned in, thank you all for participating in the chat room tonight. Thank you to everybody who's listening as well as viewing. So, big thank you, of course, to Toni Ghazi for joining us tonight and enlightening us with so much incredible information. Tomorrow night, guys, pop in. Morgan Damley returns to discuss her book, Paid with a Kiss: Love and Sex and Fairy Belief. It's very fascinating stuff, goes back century, even with the term paid with a kiss. Guys, go and look that up. And on Tuesday for Beyond the Outer Realm, Priscilla Rosado Cruz returns, and we'll be talking about the matrix in astrology. So I know, right? Isn't that great? I love it. So thank you to United Public Radio, UFO Paranormal Radio 105.3, 107.7 FM. Big thank you to Folgers Coffee, our sponsor. Ah, nice. Big thank you to Justice Snicker and Steve McGinnis. We appreciate you all so very much. And we shall see you all tomorrow night. Thank you and good night.